Welcome to DeFi Crypto and Airdrops. I am Mike, aka Veteran Crypto, and as always, my co-host Jeff, aka the Blockchain Report. How's it going, brother?
Well, it sure is an interesting day, man. Shit is seemingly hitting the fan with this NPM hack or yeah, it's crazy out there today. Another beautiful Monday in the crypto space.
It
But we're
never
trying to
ends.
survive. No, how are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing all right, man. Just freaking, I got a workout in, and then freaking took a nap, and it's like now I'm kind of like a little bit hazy. So see if I can snap out of it here. But yeah, no, there's it seems like there's always something going on in the crypto market, and it seems like it's never the price going up anymore.
Right? It's everything but what we want.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like there's hacks, there's exploits, there's freaking freaking rug pulls. I mean, freaking legislation. There's all kinds of news, but no price movement. It just seems like everything moves sideways or dumps. So yeah, I'm sure everyone's getting very frustrated out there. I've been kind of saying for a while that I felt like that, and not that I have a deep expertise in crypto. I've only been in it in 4 or 5 years, but just historically, looking at past cycles, yeah, I've been saying for probably about a year and a half now that this just looked different. Just with everything going on, institutional money, just the way that they always play dirty. They'll always buy in ways that they don't move the price. They'll do over the counter purchases, where
Mhm.
it's not on the market, so it doesn't pump the price because they want to keep prices as cheap as possible for as long as possible. And they don't care about retail. They don't care about us. The more money they can suck out of us, the better. So the best thing that I'm doing right now is I'm just holding what I got. It's like I have a little bit that's in liquidity pools and staked and stuff like that. But I'm ready at a moment's notice to pull that little bit out. The stake stuff, if price goes up, I get full price appreciation, and I'm earning on it still. And everything else, I'm sitting on my hands. I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm not going to get annoyed. I'm not going to get antsy and start making stupid mistakes. This late in the game, either the markets are going to pump or they're going to dump.
Mhm.
It's there's nothing that me or you or anybody else is going to do about it to change that. So, hopefully you did your own research. You invested in projects that you believe in fundamentally. Whatever your reasons and however you invest. And now's the time, to hold the course. Now's not the time to lift and shift and, be, jumping out of one project into another one because it's pumping. And, you start
Mm.
chasing, and buying green candles, you're gonna get chopped out. There,
Yeah.
right when you get into something is, because it's taken off, it's going to plateau or dump. The one that you jumped out of is going to start pumping. You're going to jump back. It's going to start pumping, and you're going to jump in. It's just
It's
it's
like the
not.
office space in the beginning
Yeah.
where they're driving in traffic and one goes faster and you get over and then it
Yep.
stops. And well, in Hyperliquid, like what Drew was saying earlier today, he's like, I'm not going to get in when it's all green. Hyperliquid's at all time highs, just pumping and pumping, but you're not going to chase that shit. And
No.
someone mentioned about ETFs being sold off by institutions, possibly getting ready for a big dump come
Hmm.
the rate cuts. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to be paying attention to because if there's hints that a pullback is coming and we can front run that, that might be a good way to kind of reduce your exposure as we get closer to that time. So that's something I'm going to be keeping in mind just because I don't want to take that big cut if I'm fully exposed. But then again, you just never know.
I but before I put my money into the crypto market, I made the decision that it's gone. It's a number on a screen. I've spent the money. I took my emotions out of it. What's that?
everything. You got your ladder out and strategy and stuff. So
I got everything in place, and I'm riding it to Valhalla or I'm riding it to zero. It's I'm gonna make my 4 or 500K, or I'm gonna ride it down to zero. It's just that's my two options. I've come to terms with that, and I'm at peace with it, and that's what I'm rolling with. Yeah, no, Plume started moving today.
over 10 cents,
Yeah,
10.3.
no, it's like that was nice to see. We haven't seen any life out of that for a minute.
No.
Let's see what else we got going on. Well, go ahead and jump over to the
Yeah.
socials, and then maybe I'll pop on to and just kind of show RWA.xyz and all the usual suspects, and then you can jump into the project.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, here at DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, where me and Mike go live every Monday and Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And Mike also goes live on Wednesday and Friday at 2 p.m. for the DeFi Masterclass, and that's Pacific Standard Time. And also Thursday with Money Talks at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time with TradFi Jeff and and Taylor, law expert, and we're bringing all kinds of alpha for you guys, from traditional finance to law, tactics, helping you reduce your tax burden too when the time comes to when you do want to pull out. And also a lot of DeFi experts, Jake Call and David, and they also have in the description, we have our I forget
What's
the
that?
name of his DeFi University. That's right.
Yeah.
The DeFi University and Metrics Finance. Those are some powerful resources. If you haven't checked those out, please do. Also, check out our brother channels, Discover Crypto and Blockchain Basement. All the latest news in the crypto space and degen takes. And also, we have a Discord. DeFi Crypto and Airdrops Discord. It is free. Free 99. A lot of great resources, including Vet's tracking sheets to help you stay organized and have your ladder out strategy ready. And also, Discover Investments Group Discord. They do have some free sections and also paid content as well, where you can get access to pretty much everyone's portfolio, trading channels, and a lot of good alpha in there to be had. And also, you can catch us on Twitter here at _only_DCA. You can catch Vet at Veteran4Crypto, and me at the blockchain or at the BCR142. We will not message you asking you for investment or to invest your money or any kind of weird, shady shit. So be aware of any impersonators or scammers here on Twitter or Discord, especially Discord. It's really bad. I mean, they're impersonating like just the most random people too. So you don't have to be a big influencer or anything. They will mimic you if they think that you have some kind of pull. So just be aware of that. And yeah, the scammers are out there in full force, man. And it's fucking disgusting because, well, do you want me to touch on that real quick before you dive in?
You know
or
what?
do you want
Let's go ahead and jump into that. I know a lot of people are worried about that right now. The hack and the smart contract hack and all that stuff that's going on. I got some notes pulled up on it, but
Yeah.
let's go ahead and jump into it. So it's called an NPM JavaScript package supply chain hack. So do you want to kind of talk on it a little bit, and then I'll just kind of jump in. If I got a little something to add.
Yeah. And MetaMask came out and a bunch of other projects as well, saying that they're safe.
Aerodrome did as well.
Aerodrome did? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that pulled up.
Any website that uses this dependency basically has it injects malicious code, and it swaps or it tricks your wallet into sending assets to the hacked wallet
Address.
and
It'll
it's
basically
only with the
swap
update.
out the address like where that you're sending to.
Yeah, and only, but it's only if the project updated their package, that npm package,
Mhm.
through GitHub after the hack was sent out. So a lot of projects may not have updated their dependencies, so that's positive. And Marty Party came out with this just a little while ago, saying supply chain code is fixed and removed from GitHub repository. The problem is any dApp that depends on JavaScript in its dependency build chain that has built a new version today that's using that exploited version. So if they're using old code and haven't updated, then they should be fine. And MetaMask also said that they have several layers that kind of prevent that, or as like security measures. So blockchains are unaffected, wallets are unaffected. This affects only dApps and Web2 UI that asks users to sign EVM blockchain transactions through the Web3 JavaScript. So if you don't sign EVM transactions with that, then you're safe. But I'm just gonna wait at least a few days. Some people are gonna wait, a week or so, but I'm just kind of gonna be chilling on any transactions
I am as
for the
well.
time being. Yeah, it's just
So
not worth it.
basically what I found for malware functionality is it says it's an injected code and acts as a crypto clipper. So a type of
Mm,
info stealer. So it monitors clipboard contents like when you copy and paste in web
yeah.
browsers for cryptocurrency wallet addresses supporting Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, Tron, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. Replaces the user's legitimate wallet address with the attacker's controlled wallet address during transactions, whenever you copy and paste. Tampers with website content and what users see and sign in dApps. So it can mess with, basically show you one thing, but actually do another. So just because you
Mhm.
see that the wallet address is right, it might not be. So, you got to be really careful. And because it can enable silent fund drainage. So basically, you can do a transaction. It can look like that everything went the way it was supposed to. Next thing you know, your wallet's drained. It says that it can exfiltrate private keys, mnemonic seeds, and other sensitive data to a Telegram bot controlled by the attackers. So there's some crazy shit that's going on and I'm not willing to
Ooh.
risk it right now.
No. No, that's, I mean, who are these people that are just like, I mean, at some point, karma's going to come back in full force and just, eat you alive, I hope, man, because that's disgusting.
You would
This
hope
is,
that that's true, but I honestly, I, I know it's a nice thought to believe that people get what's coming to them, good and bad, but I've seen way too much in the world, and
not
unfortunately
always the case.
not always the case. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I really really wish that people would like that would freaking you know I won't say it, but
Well, you
I
think
just
if
wish
you're that
certain
smart, man, you
yeah.
can make money doing something else, right? You
It's just, but
or
it's
you
so
just,
easy for them. It's just easy money for them. They can sit behind a keyboard, do some lines of code, and potentially make millions. So it's tempting. So anyway, so yeah, for the time being, till you hear otherwise, I would avoid doing any wallet transactions. I would lay off a DeFi for a minute. It's kind of why I've been sitting on my hands.
Mhm.
Yeah, anything that has to do with signing signing transactions or using your wallets, I would just stand by for a minute.
Yep. Yeah.
But
And
let's
on top of that, airdrops have been struggling out there because this is, I don't know how many projects I've come across now or I've been involved with that you get this sorry not eligible, and I've been in the comments and discords of all these projects, and people are pissed, man. People are getting farmed. Even like high ranking influencers are
Well, you
getting
said you were
fucked.
like at platinum level or something on that
Almost
one.
platinum, yeah, and a gold tier. It's like, I mean, it wasn't like just some bullshit, man. And this is a consistent thing that projects are basically using the users and saying, "Oh, fuck you. We're just gonna gatekeep this," or
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, but they're if they don't get their shit together, they're gonna lose a lot of community members, and your
yeah.
project's gonna end up dead. So it's just it's been, not just outside of the hacks, but man, and the price not moving, but the
Mhm.
airdrop shit. It's just been it's
It's
rough out there,
it
man.
yeah. No, it feels like we're in the like the 10th or 11th round of a boxing match, and we're just freaking getting beat on, freaking over and over and over.
Oh, what is that? Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas? You think you're
Yeah,
Mike Tyson, and then it's like,
dude.
hell no.
Yeah. No, it's like I honestly, man, it's like I mean, I'm kind of a permabull, but I mean, I even have my days, and honestly, today is one of those days where I'm just like I really haven't been doing a whole lot with crypto today. Like I said, I got a workout in, took a nap, just kind of stepped away for a minute because
Mhm,
I just kind of needed a minute. After hearing about the hack and knowing I can't do it. I don't want to take the chance of doing any DeFi. Um, it's
mhm,
like just sometimes it's better, to just step away for a minute because yeah,
mhm.
I mean it's like I'm never gonna capitulate. I mean, like I said, I'm in it to win it, or like I said, I'm gonna lose it all, one of the two. But either way, let's do this real quick. So,
I popped your screen up for you.
yeah, I appreciate that, brother. So I got DeFi Llama up, and you can see that. I mean, as always, all the indicators are bullish. Down here you got RWA TVL is just up and to the right. I'll show RWA.xyz here in a minute, but TVL is strong. We got $50 billion, total in DeFi, $154 billion in DeFi, including stable coins and everything else. Well, including stable coins, we got 286 billion. Volumes are, they're down from a couple of days ago, but they're still strong. RWA.xyz, we're at about almost 7% up in 30 days, 28.43 billion. And, again, is just, every single category up and to the right. Scroll down, surprisingly, 30-day growth, you got Avalanche is number one with 88% growth. You got BNB chain after that, Stellar XLM, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Mantle, Polygon, Base, Solana, and Sui. So, 30-day growth, that's your top 10. Kind of some surprising ones, to be honest. I mean, I wasn't expecting to see Avalanche when I sorted it, but there you go.
Mm.
Um, Ondo, again, I was talking about this the other day. Ondo, as far as 7-day growth, I mean, these are just freaking going nuts. iShares Core S&P. This is Ondo tokenizing the New York Stock Exchange. Stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. Tesla, Lockheed Martin, J.P. Morgan Chase. I mean, these Toyota. These are all tokenized stocks that people are buying. Again, not a huge amount. You're looking at a couple of million, a couple 100,000, but I mean, it's only been since what was it, Friday, and the New York Stock Exchange is closed on the weekends, and crypto is pretty dead on the weekends. So you're looking at pretty much Friday and today. That's what's been onboarded. So again, bullish. Just a lot of big numbers being thrown up with these tokenized assets, and all it's doing is growing. Um, What else we got for you? Well, let's go ahead and jump into the project. I want to make sure that we get to everything. I know this is one that you've been excited about for a minute, so yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that real quick.
Yeah, it kind of came across my radar just the past few weeks, and it it kind of gives me um, Plume vibes, but more modern and not kind of gimmicky. Let me pop my screen up. But Rialo, Rialo is a real world blockchain, or a blockchain built for real world, trying to bring real world assets to life. So, kind of how they describe it. So the flip phone evolved when GPS, cameras, and internet connectivity were embedded into one device called the smartphone. Suddenly you have new user experience, new categories of apps became possible, like Uber, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So Rialo brings that convergence to the blockchain. So they have raised 20 million in funding to build this blockchain. And these are the two founders, Ade Adepoju and Lu Zhang.
I think he might be from Africa.
Maybe. But their backgrounds are pretty interesting. I found them on LinkedIn. It's good that they have their LinkedIn on here, but I think they're both from the Bay Area. Actually, I might have to reach out to them and see if I can do like a meet them in person or something.
Yeah.
But Ade, this guy on the left. So his background, he's been an engineer at Netflix, Dell, AMD. I don't know what SLB is, but doing GPU architecture, operating system design. I mean, he's got some pretty impressive backgrounds. Oh, he was a founding engineer at Miston Labs for over 2 years. So he's got, Web 2 and Web 3 background. And I think he's a Stanford graduate. Or maybe it's the other guy. Oh no, he's Texas A&M and Georgia Tech. Oh, and he's got a degree in artificial intelligence, master's degree. So this other guy, Lu Zhang, graduated from Carnegie Mellon. Okay, master of computational data science. And he was a software engineer at Google, Facebook, Novi Finance, as well as some another staff software engineer at Miston Labs. So that's probably how they met, was at Miston Labs, and then came together to create this Sub-Zero Labs and Rialo. The Rialo blockchain is built by Sub-Zero Labs. So pretty impressive background, both Web 2 and Web 3, which is what you want to see, especially when building like real world asset blockchains. And their website right here, you can join the waitlist, which I highly encourage, because they'll usually send out an email to you once the test net or whatever it is they're developing is ready to be used. And sometimes they'll give you early access to it. And that's the key, is if you can get early access to this stuff, you have a better chance at getting some sort of reward or an OG status. But they have their contributors down here, which is Meta, Netflix, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, all the big players, VMware. So it's a pretty stacked project from the looks of it right now. So no plugins, no patchwork. Rialo unifies what used to be fragmented into a single full stack system, so apps can launch faster, run smoother, like products people expect. So web calls, smart triggers, cross-chain flows, it's all native. So all this like stuff that kind of runs in the background, it kind of runs seamless and doesn't, oh, did I cut out? Am I good? Maybe I
Yeah.
froze for a second. And there's also careers if you're interested in joining the team. There's research, marketing, growth, product, and engineering. And it's all remote. So if anybody's interested, you can come here to Sub-Zero, and they have like software engineer jobs. They have a chief riz officer, whatever that is. So do you have the riz? Prove it in the application. But it's all remote. Product UI UX designer, project manager. So if anyone's interested in or has maybe some of these qualifications, it's fully remote, full time. So could be something for. I might send this to my brother actually, because he's fully remote, and if he can get paid a little better than what he's getting paid now, doing pretty much the same thing. But yeah, Sub-Zero. I just wish there was more ready from this, but it's pretty fresh. I mean, just a month ago, they announced 20 million in this real world blockchain. Now, Maverick's been getting a lot of hype in the real world asset arena. I think more than Plume. Actually,
Maverick, we did a deep dive on. I mean, it's been quite a while now.
yeah, I saw somebody share a post on Twitter yesterday. I don't remember who it was. I'll have to find it and share it. But it showed Maverick and the mind share in, I think it was on across all social platforms. But Maverick's got like at least 2 or 3x more mind share right now than Plume and some other blockchain. But that might be one we want to kind of
Circle back
on. Yeah, because remember, it hadn't launched yet, right? It was just kind of right
No,
before the launch.
I'm actually scrolling through our channel right now, seeing.
Yeah, it was a while back.
No, it was quite a while back. You go ahead and keep going. I'll let you know if I find it.
Yeah, so this is a startup. Oh, and they got investment from Pantera Capital and other crypto ventures like Variant, which is the venture arm of Coinbase, and the crypto desk of high frequency trading firm Susquehanna.
Oh shit! It might be so old that it's not on this channel. It's on our old
shit.
channel.
Damn.
Let me let's see.
Yeah,
You can go ahead and keep going.
See if we can.
I'll see if I can find it.
So they said Rialo isn't a layer 1, 2, 3, or any of these layer whatever blockchains. He said he's reluctant to compare it to any existing crypto products. He does say the blockchain is designed for non-crypto developers and that it allows engineers to replicate tools usually implemented outside a blockchain. These include the ability to access information like a FICO score elsewhere on the internet without the need of an oracle or outside data provider. Interesting. So cameras used to ship with laptops, they used to be separate. He said, referring to the external video cameras people used to connect their computers. They got bundled. These things happen with every technology. So that's interesting. Now, what would that do for something like Chainlink if blockchains going forward don't need oracles, if they have it kind of built in or they can access?
That's a good question.
Because Cardano, there wasn't Chainlink offering like an extraordinary price to be integrated with Cardano, and Hoskinson was having some negotiations, and then he said it was going to be too much money to have it integrated.
I mean, I don't know a ton about Cardano or about him, but it seems like every time I watch him or I Cardano might be a really good project, but the fact that he heads it up is what gives me pause because like he allows his vision of what crypto should be like to affect how he guides that project and
Mm,
he sabotages like almost everything that good that comes to that that tries to work with them. um
hmm
it's DeFi. He like there's almost they're trying to change that now, but I mean he could have been knee deep in DeFi and kind of shrugged it off. Like you said, Chainlink tried to work with him, and he sabotaged that. Seems like every time he does an interview, he's trash talking like every other project. So I don't know.
Yeah, I really liked him early on,
One.
man. I really liked him early on, but with like you said, it's just kind of dragging ass and oh yeah, it's just not good for Cardano.
Yeah, let me actually I want to ask real quick, or you
Miles.
know what? Yeah, I'm going to ask Miles something real quick, but let me just go to Plume's. I am kind of curious why it is that they're pumping right now.
Yeah, they got
Um,
a
I I know a while back they integrated USDC natively on chain. Let's see, 8 hours ago, diversity is proof of momentum. Not seeing anything on their thread. All right, well let's ask Miles.
see what he's got to say.
See what Miles got to say. Let me know. Let me know if you can hear him here in a second.
Yep.
All right. Hey, Miles. Hey, I'm live right now with Jeff on the show, and was curious if you could look across the interwebs and let us know Plume Network. The token Plume that we're always talking about. It had some good positive price movement today. Can you find anything that might have contributed to that? Yes. No, no. I was just wondering if there was anything that was, glaringly obvious because Plume, for the most part, likes to trend sideways. Not a ton of volatility. So, to see a pump like this, is a little bit out of the ordinary. And I mean, it's doing it right now. On the hour, we're up almost 2%. On the day, we're up, 14.5%. On the week, we're up 30%. So yeah, just kind of curious if it's just finally starting to get some traction, or if it's just kind of it's been that beach ball that's been held under the water and is loaded and ready to spring. So I appreciate it, Miles. All right. So yeah, nothing in particular, Joseph. Um, it
I don't
says
see
I
anything on Twitter.
let's see. I only see the Binance listing and Circle integration. Yeah, that's all I'm tracking too, Joseph. Is is a little bit of that little bit of action, but for the most part, I mean that's kind of Plume. They always have these little additions going. They always have these new things happening. It's nothing major, but it's just constantly building, constantly adding, constantly,
Hmm
launching new apps. There's just constant progress, and that's to me is a lot more bullish than one big announcement and then nothing for weeks or months, and then maybe something else and then nothing for weeks and months. I would much rather see just good steady progress. good, steady
Mm-hmm.
building, almost daily. I mean, you can go on their blog and almost daily, sometimes multiple times a day, they're announcing new partnerships. So, you look at the
Yeah.
TVL, you look at, all the different dexes and the lending platforms and, just everything that's going on with Plume. I'm nothing but bullish on it. My only regret is that I don't have more Plume.
Yep. Yeah, that what is it? The Bloomberg News
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
that blog. Yeah. So it's oh, so on the fourth they welcome USDC to the fam. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's been, a little bit ago, but
Um, a recent SEC filing. This came out 5 hours ago. A recent SEC filing by Nasdaq may allow tokenized securities to trade
oh,
alongside traditional assets on its order books.
yeah, and I think that might be what Ray Sting is alluding to. I
Uh,
saw that too. And this is what's gonna drive this crypto is these this regulation, the rules, the guidelines, for different jurisdictions, the U.S., the U.K., the Middle East, just all these different places as they draft this legislation. It's really going to choose which projects are going to have staying power. Um, it it can be a blue chip, that has been around forever, that has a great community. It can have a bunch of partnerships. It can have everything going for it. But if some piece of legislation comes out and it is worded in such a way to where it basically you know uh, you know black flags, for lack of a better term,
mm,
a certain project, that project is, if for all intents and purposes, dead in that jurisdiction, unless they are modular and they can upgrade, and lift and shift their fire really fast, change whatever aspect isn't in alignment with legislation. But a lot of the older projects that are considered blue chips, they're not very upgradable. They're older tech. They're not modular. They're not, it's not a DAG or one of those architectures that allow for plug and play changes. That's one of the reasons Casper doesn't get a lot of love. I still have a very nice bag of it. I don't talk about it much. Still very bullish on it. But it is modular. Constellation DAG, modular, Kita, modular. It allows, small pieces of it to be removed and replaced, as opposed to, needing a full overhaul of the entire chain, blockchain.
mm-hmm.
So you really need to pay attention to, I know people don't like to talk about politics, but you really, moving forward, you're really going to need to be knowledgeable and keep your finger on the pulse of politics and which way the winds are blowing when it comes to legislation, and paying attention
Mm-hmm.
to who are the individuals and what projects are they a part of that have a seat at the table while they're drafting legislation. You constantly see Plume at the table. You constantly see Ondo at the table. A lot of these, projects that are starting to rise to the surface, they have a seat at the table. And so they're whispering in the ear of legislators, educating them and steering them, to benefit their project. And if you're not paying attention, if you're investing the old way off of social media hype and whatever project is, getting the most attention on social media, yeah, that drives retail. And short term, you can probably make some good money, using that as your gauge. But long term, that's not the ones that are going to win. The projects that are laser focused on guiding legislation, those are the ones long term that are going to do well. The ones that are, basically being fed off social media hype, you might as well get involved in memes and make your money short term, because honestly,
Yep.
that
Yep.
is, it's the truth. Might not, people might not want to hear that, but what used to be, how you did your research and how you did your investing in crypto has to evolve. The ecosystem, the crypto ecosystem is evolving. Institutional money, institutions, governments, as those variables change, as all the different little PC parts of the ecosystem change, you have to evolve and change with it. If you don't evolve, you die as an
Mhm.
investor, and especially in an emerging technology like crypto and blockchain.
It moves so fast. Yep.
I think you got like
Um,
an AC, like an AC unit on in the back. It's like there's like a
oh,
hum going on.
yeah, I'm like sweating through my freaking shorts. In the
to,
office.
to, your, to your wife beater.
Yeah, it's oh, oh, is he back? Oh, there you
I'm
are.
I'm here.
Yeah, it's it's hot in my office. I don't have AC in my apartment,
Oh shit.
so um, but yeah. So last thing I want to touch on are these little highlighted parts on Rialo. So real world apps let you talk to the internet natively, whether it's payments, shipping info, weather. Apps just launch, logic just runs, things just work. Real world data, you can get asset pricing in real time, delivered natively on chain. Trust minimized feeds with stable costs and no oracles. Real world speeds, no delays, no waiting. Applications react to the real world, from price pumps to check ins to daily routines. Real world connectivity, you got data moves between apps and chains without bridges, wrappers, or hacks. That means smarter pricing, fairer swaps, and real time reactions. No more please wait screens. Thank God. And then real world privacy. Apps can send encrypted messages directly to real people via email, phone, or device ID. No setup, no wallets, just secure by default communications. Man, if you really mean no hacks, that if there's a way to mitigate hacks like that, or like this bullshit from earlier today, I mean that's, or adding layers of security that kind of prevent that. And I wonder how well AI integration will help prevent or spot these vulnerabilities before they actually happen. So that could be another thing that AI could be useful for, being integrated in these blockchains. It's like, oh shit, we see this, NPM repository hack that happens, and it alerts you.
This
Ooh,
this just this just in. Breaking news. Morpho just announced that their app is not affected with the ongoing NPM package situation as well. So now we got Aerodrome, Morpho, and MetaMask so far that I've seen that say that they're not affected.
so
So
now
keep
we
keep
need VFAT.
yeah, keep going, keep going. I just
Oh no, that
went
was
in.
that was the last one.
All right. Let me.
But if VFAT can tell us, I'll be feel a lot better
Yeah,
about compounding.
that's. Yeah, I'll pop over there and see if they've announced anything. Um.
Oh, and speaking of AI, so you know how we covered Edgen last weekend, Edgen
Yeah.
Tech. So they are integrating, and this, and we also did a while back an episode on Sahara AI, right? And so this partnership or kind of collaboration, they're, let me see. On Edgen, you can do these tasks that are on Sahara AI. And what it does is on Sahara AI, it'll ask you to do certain prompts on Edgen, like ask for certain stock picks or crypto picks. And then you take those results and put it into Sahara AI's platform. And it's supposed to, I don't remember exactly what it is. I'll have to go back and look, but this will be really cool to do kind of a circle back on. But seeing how these AI projects are collaborating together to kind of create more of a robust ecosystem to where you can find credible answers, and not get just like, because you know how AI, it can spit out all kinds of random bullshit and it's not always the most accurate.
Yeah.
Sahara AI is trying to minimize that by bringing you credible information and sorting through any bullshit and noise. So it's kind of cool seeing that, you can use one AI and another AI, but if they can talk together and kind of collaborate with each other and help, iron out any inconsistencies and errors, that's really powerful. And also you get points on your Edgen Tech profile for completing that too. So if you want to earn those that aura, like we talked about, outside of your daily check-ins, and that you don't have to pay for either. I know that there's a subscription model on here, but you don't need to have a subscription or pay anything to complete this task. So just wanted to give everyone a little bit of alpha. And you don't have to do any wallet transactions. So that's good, at least for right now.
All right. Well, I'm going to go through, and so I did a search real quick to find out, any announcements that mention the NPM package hack. So Banker, BANKR, says that their users are unaffected by the hack, but they'll continue monitoring the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin Labs says, is the NPM package in the room with us right now?
Oh,
Let's see.
here you go. Researcher 4484 grouped the attacker's wallets on Arkham under an entity named NPM attack. The data shows the attacker managed to steal only $66.
Oh, that's up from the $20 that I heard about a little while
Oh,
ago. So yeah, they're up. They're up 2x from what I heard.
they got
Um,
gondola coin, whatever that is.
let's see, what else do we got?
At least they can Uber out of town for the night because things got heated.
Yeah, it doesn't. The thing that I worry about is that it's it might appear, it might lull people into like a false sense of security to where
Mm,
it's not very successful, and and then all of a sudden it will unleash fucking hell. Is what I worry.
yeah, yeah.
So, meme market regarding the recent NPM supply chain hack, meme market users are completely unaffected. Not that I care about meme market. Um, Rails. I don't think I've ever.
Hmm.
I guess they seamlessly combine on-chain custody with centralized order flow for fast, secure, perpetual trading using ZK proofs. So they're saying that they're unaffected. Wasabi is saying they're unaffected. As GC Capital says they're unaffected. Um, Not seeing any projects necessarily that I'm using. I checked VFAT's account, and that's one thing about VFAT. They suck at like
They're
posting and
quiet.
communication, but I mean, I
Mhm.
love their product, but man, they're freaking
Crickets.
community. Yeah, whoever their community outreach is not good at their job. Um, yeah, that's about all I'm seeing right now. Nothing of note other than those ones that I mentioned.
Hopefully, we get some more clarification tomorrow from these projects. Because yeah, if if more of them can come out saying, "Hey, we're safe," you're good to go. But at least wait a few days. At
Yeah.
minimum. I mean, I might even sabotage my plume spins for that because I got a 90
Oh
day
shit.
streak,
Oh
and I
yeah.
don't.
No, I actually just did my plume spin. Freaking.
Oh
uh,
shit.
man, I hope I don't get drained. All right. Yep. Freaking there I go. I'm freaking telling people about this fucking exploit, and then I freaking go and do a plume spin. Um, so here's a little more info on it. So it says the ongoing status. As of September 9th, the attack is contained but not fully resolved. Malicious versions may have already been cached or integrated into projects. Researchers are scanning for further infections, and the incident is under active investigation. No specific attribution to a threat group yet, but it mirrors tactics used by state sponsored actors or ransomware affiliates in past NPM attacks. So it looks like a well organized attack, I guess. Let me check Plume and see if they have said anything about it.
I'll check their Discord too. Wait, am I in their Discord? Oh.
I would guess Plume would be pretty careful, just because being an RWA and DeFi play, and how dependent all of its projects are on wallets and things like that. I mean, I would think that they would do some pretty comprehensive scrubbing before they would update.
Yeah, I'm asking now in their Discord. I don't see anything at the moment. But yeah, that you would hope so.
I'm asking Grok.
Ecosystem.
Um, it says that there's no publicly reported information on Plume Network's specific status or involvement in the ongoing hack. Um, no mentions of compromised packages, affected projects, or mitigation steps tied to Plume were found in security reports, news articles, or real time social media discussions.
Okay. So you should be good.
Says, why might Plume be unaffected or silent? No direct ties. Plume's ecosystem, built on its own modular L1 chain with tools like Arc for tokenization, likely relies on custom or vetted dependencies rather than broad JS or JavaScript packages that were used for this. They're focused on
Mhm.
RWAs and compliance, e.g., integrations with Centrifuge version 3, suggests a security conscious approach, but nothing confirms exposure. Says general risk to crypto projects. Any Ethereum Web3 project using Node.js could theoretically be at risk if they pulled the bad versions during the narrow window. However, no evidence links Plume's repos um, to these packages. Broader searches for Plume Networks NPM or Plume Crypto Hack yielded only unrelated NWA news, like their April 25 partnerships with Sony Sonium and Morpho Data. So yeah, I mean, it looks like, and that's my thoughts. Something like Plume, being, I mean, it would destroy the project. I would think if, if a simple, hack like this, if they were just simply, downloading and updating, willy nilly, without vetting, packages, like this, I would
Yeah.
think that it would be, probably not a good thing. So, not saying that, it's not possible, just saying that, I if I was going to trust a network, I would definitely be trusting a network that is focused on institutional, RWAs and DeFi, before a lot of projects out there.
Uh, Good point. Yeah.
Anybody got any questions in the chat about anything, or like want to share anything with the group before we cut this off, or?
Yeah. I know everyone's kind of got their booty puckered
Oh,
today in
dude,
this
I'm
space.
telling you, dude, I can feel it. I mean, I've been steeped in the crypto verse for 5 years now, day in and day out, and I mean, you can see it, you can feel it. People are beat down, man. It's, I
Right here.
mean, it's,
Everyone in
yeah,
crypto right now.
yeah. No, you got to fucking put a condom on your ledger before you freaking plug it in. It's rough, man. But it's, if you can weather this storm, if you can,
Mhm.
stay the course, hold what you got, don't get shaken out. If you've been in crypto for more than, a couple of months, if you were here for any of the bear market, man, you can make it through this. With the
Ooh,
FTX collapse and
bro.
Celsius and just everything, freaking, the
Solana
SEC.
to zero. Solana to
Yeah,
zero.
yeah, Solana, freaking. I mean, shit. I ended up getting into Solana. I forget exactly. Was it like $12 or something like that? I forget
Oh,
what it
close.
dipped down to. But I mean, I bought Solana, on that dip just because. I mean, it was, such a large project, and fundamentally, other than the
Nothing
fact that,
changed.
they owned a bunch of it, that FTX owned a bunch of it. Other than that, nothing changed. So yeah, on the
Mhm.
dip, I bought a bunch of Solana, and then when it pumped back up, I sold it. Yeah, the Luna
Oh,
crash.
yeah.
Ray Sting. Terra Luna. I mean,
Mhm.
we've been through some rough waters, man. So if you've been here a minute, buck up. Freaking, it's time to cowboy up.
Mhm.
Um, you know, you're in the saddle. You've been there a minute. Freaking, at some point, this is either gonna freaking break up and do amazing shit, and we're all gonna be fucking, cashing out, or it's gonna go to zero. And honestly, if you can't handle it going to zero, you probably shouldn't be invested. It's probably money that you can't afford to lose. And if you can't afford to lose, I mean, you really, especially in emerging tech like this, you really got to treat it like gambling, because you really are.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter how bullish you are on your project. It doesn't matter how strong fundamentally it is. It's, you can mitigate your risk on your investments, getting into stronger projects and, keeping an eye on fundamentals and things like that, but you're never going to eliminate risk. The closest in crypto that you're going to get to probably eliminating risk is probably Bitcoin. If you can't handle the heat, if you can't handle, what's going on in crypto right now, you probably should just put your money in Bitcoin and just sit back and wait. That's probably your fucking best bet. But if you're a degen like me and like Jeff and like most in our community, you're going to invest in emerging tech. You're going to invest in Plume and Ondo and, all these other projects that, that we're always talking about, Aerodrome and Kita and Chainlink and DAG and Casper and Avalanche and Mamo and Black Hole. And, just, I'm just basically, listing the stuff that I'm invested in. But I mean, that's kind of what you do. Is I'm under no illusion some of the projects I'm invested in, I'm probably going to lose money or not make a whole lot of money. But I'm hoping that one or two of them are going to, 10x, 20x, 50x, and it's going to make up for the ones who don't, that don't do anything. That's the best that you're going to do in this market. Do your research. If you're not old enough, we always talk about it, the dot coms. There was hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dot coms out there. And 90% of them, 95% of them went to zero. There was only a handful that stuck around and that made any money. And if you were invested in those, you made a shit ton of money. But there was plenty of them that didn't do shit. And the internet was an emerging tech at the time.
Yeah.
This is the exact same thing. You know, AI, AI stocks, not even crypto, just AI stocks. It's another one. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's some pretty bets. You can Chat GPT and some of the bigger ones. They're going to stand the test of time probably, but all it's going to take is one AI project that comes out with something groundbreaking, and it could be a couple of guys in their basement that figure something out, and they blow the other ones out of the water, and it becomes the Amazon or the Google or the Microsoft of AI, and just comes out of nowhere. Way, that's my closing thoughts. What do you got for closing thoughts,
Yep.
brother?
So speaking of projects shutting down, this project Quinto modular exchange. Oh, did I lose you? No, come back. It's trying to rug us.
Yeah.
No. Uh, so speaking of projects shutting down, this project had tons of hype, and it just announced yesterday that it's shutting down. Now look at this. Look at this chart.
Yeah.
It hit $8, right? Just a month ago, and people had their tokens locked up for a year, and now like tens of thousands of dollars people had from their airdrop just locked up, and it's fucking done. There's been other projects announcing they're shutting down or sunsetting, like Chroma was one that I talked about a few months ago, and I farmed that airdrop a year ago, so you can have conviction, but you can have as much conviction as you want, but you just never know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we do have a few questions.
Yeah, I personally, I still have all my Mammo, and it's on the Mammo website earning. Once I
Mm.
invest in a project, unless something seriously fundamentally changes, I don't get out of it. I might decrease my position a little bit, if I'm hungry for liquidity to put into a new project or something. But for the most part, I hold what I got. I mean, I'll DeFi with my assets to build my bags of those assets. But Mammo, I mean, it's off and on, but it earns so well just sticking it on their website. I'm just kind of I've kind of de-risked quite a bit of my DeFi just because I mean, if we're gonna pump, we gotta pump soon. I think I was reading somewhere that if you look historically at the past cycles, that basically in the next 30 to 60 days is the alt season. And if it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen in the next 30 to 60 days, we're either in an extended cycle or the bull runs over. One of the two.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
or the 4-year cycle's dead, and who knows, if it's an 8-year cycle or a 5-year cycle or there is no cycle, or who the hell knows, which could be the case. There's you know with institutional money and stuff like that, and the way everything is kind of flattened out, I mean, this just might be the norm from here on out. It's just it goes
Yeah.
up, it goes down, and just over time, it gradually goes up.
Yep.
The days of parabolic gains could, I'm not saying it is, but it could be over.
Mm-hmm.
It's instead of seeing hundreds of percent of gains, we might only see tens of percent of gains. 10, 20, 30% might be a huge pump from here on out. And eventually 5% might be, in a day. We're in
Mm-hmm.
uncharted water, people. So,
Brand new era, brand new chapter of crypto with all the institutions, man. I
yeah,
felt it was coming, and fuck, this is yeah, just be careful. Don't, be aware of all this stuff. Follow us for the latest news and updates with, especially these hacks. We'll try and bring you the most up to date, best alpha we can, and keep you informed as much as possible. But don't get shaken out of your bags. Don't let these institutions, scare you and manipulate you, because at the end of the day, you are in control of your own destiny. And just watch what smart money does, big money does, and just try and be as safe as possible out there. But and don't over leverage yourself or put too much risk into one project, and you might face this or that quinto downfall. So
and all the trash that I talk about XRP, it's I'm not telling people to sell their whole bag of XRP. I'm specifically talking to the people that are all in on XRP because it's going to make them generational wealth.
mhm,
I'm speaking to the people that to try to get them to understand that you need to diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. I don't care if it's XRP. I don't care if it's Plume or Aerodrome or any of the ones that I have strong conviction on. I'm
mhm,
always reassessing my bags. And I might sell some of one bag if I, get a solid pump out of it or something fundamentally changes and, put it into another one that I think has, more upside. You just, you know, yeah, just like Jeff said, don't get shook
well,
out of your bags.
DZ mentioned earlier that he would consider moving some Bitcoin into Chainlink, and
Mm.
that could be a scenario that, Chainlink might have way more upside in the more near term. So, yeah, but yeah, don't go all in on just one.
But that's about all I got, brother.
Yep, that's all I got.
All right. Well, stay strong out there. Make sure you got a freaking death grip on your bags, and it's like I said. I mean, it's going to be here in the next 30 to 60 days. October, November. It's so I guess like 2.5 months. We're either all going to have a bunch of money, or like I said, we're going to be in uncharted waters, and you're going to have to decide if you need to cash out or rearrange, or if you're just going to keep holding like I am. So until then,
Hmm.
we'll talk to you on Wednesday for the DeFi show. Make sure you like and share and follow us. And until next
Yes,
time,
yes.
Veteran Crypto out.
Peace.